No. So essentially what this would show you if it were live is the connections being made on the LinkedIn platform every second. So I'm going to get to that, but every second there are two new people joining LinkedIn, which is pretty powerful. So I can send that link to you guys after so you can check it out yourselves. It's pretty cool. So first of all, thank you for having me. You may have seen Dale Durrett in some of the materials leading up to the event. He's actually my boss and couldn't be here, so I've been able to fill in for him. The caveat there is that it's his presentation, so bear with me as I work through it. It's really exciting to be here, part of Social Media Day, and also, as Teresa said, we went public a couple months ago, so my last visit to the stock exchange was during IPO day. So I have a lot of good memories when I come back here. So I'm going to start. So Teresa gave a great intro. I was asked to talk about how LinkedIn can be used to help you deepen your customer relationships. A huge part of that is actually deploying the platform yourselves as professionals and consumers. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm also going to share recommendations for utilizing the platform as a marketer. So let's first look at the landscape. We're really seeing a new world of work in the way that consumers are utilizing the consumer web, how they're consuming content. And never more than now is it really about the people. So people are billed as your company's most important assets. That's a huge opportunity to leverage your people to be your brand ambassadors. Additionally, people are more connected than ever. So while it's still about efficiency, more than ever it's about connectivity. So think about that huge network of connections that all of your people have when you're looking to deepen those relationships with your customers and to evangelize your brand. Do it through your people. And lastly, we're always looking to shorten that cycle between information and day-to-day business decisions. And LinkedIn enables you the tools to do that, given that we enable you to put out your content, thought leadership, and connect with those people that are really interested in your brand. So what this is basically saying is, in this new world of work, the way that you can deepen those customer relationships is recognizing that things are changing and to really join the discussion and the conversation using LinkedIn. So I don't know if you guys can see Teresa on the slide. But basically, we're all our own small business. And so what that means is we're all highly searchable, and we're searching for people, and we're being found. And so when I Google Teresa, the second link that comes up is her LinkedIn profile. Typically, it's actually your first, because LinkedIn profiles are so SEOable. Teresa has a fairly common name. I think that's why her LinkedIn profile came up second. So point here is that, again, people are looking for us, whether it's people that want to do business with us, it's potential recruiters, it's future clients, it's current clients, whoever it may be. So as a professional and a consumer, it's really in your best interest to utilize the platform and make sure you have a robust, enhanced profile. And I'll get into that a little bit more. How many of you have LinkedIn profiles? OK, good showing. So now I'm going to go into a little bit about LinkedIn. LinkedIn's mission is all about making people more productive and successful. So that's our mission statement, connecting the world's professionals to be more productive and successful. So what does that mean? It means that every single thing we do on the platform all comes back to our mission. We actually have 3 revenue streams to our business. So 1 is marketing solutions, which is my business. 2 is subscriptions, which are those monthly premium accounts that people pay for. And 3, which is actually our biggest business, is hiring solutions. So that's the products that we sell to recruiters and HR managers. My point in telling you that is that we really don't compromise. We really don't just cash in and accept the insertion orders to do anything for advertising. Because at the end of the day, it has to be a good member experience. You're not going to see an airplane flying across the homepage. You're not going to see pop-ups. The advertising is much more subtle. It's much more integrated. So again, it's all about making people be better at what they do. So like I said, we are adding 2 members every second. About this time last year, it was about a member a second. So that's great news. We're increasing our pacing of growth. And we're at, actually, we just announced this yesterday on earnings call that we're at over 130 million members. So huge scale. That represents about half in the US, half global. And what does this mean? Why does it matter? It matters because it's affirmation that we really feel good about our mission statement and that our members are finding our platform to be useful and helping them be more productive and successful. All a huge opportunity for all of you. So I don't know how much you can see this, but this is a pull from our internal data. As you probably know, we sit on tons and tons of data. The challenge is figuring out how to best use it. So this is an example of the C-suite on LinkedIn. So I think there's a small misperception that the C-suite's not on LinkedIn. It's not true. They are. Michael Dell is on LinkedIn. And what this shows you is the activities that people are doing on the platform. So the y-axis is average page views. The x-axis is percentage of visitors. And the big bubbles are what people are primarily doing on the platform. They're looking at profiles. They're looking in their inbox. They're connecting with people. They're looking for information that they can't find anywhere else. What they're not doing is the red circle, which is looking for jobs. Also kind of a misperception that we're just a job board. I think we have a savvier audience out here today, but you'd be surprised at how much I need to counter that objection. So this is compared to the average US audience. So the C-suite compared to the average US audience is looking for jobs 22% less. That's pretty commensurate, though, with the average US audience. On a whole, people are only doing job-related activities 10% of the time. It speaks to the content, the engagement, and all the things that members are finding of value. So this is a picture of a man lifting a stone with a lever. And we really aspire to make people great at what they do. And you as marketers have an opportunity to join in that discussion, that conversation, and that ability to connect with your customers, helping them be better at what they do, whether it's with your content, whether it's with your advertising, whether it's with your products and services, which I'll get to in a little bit. But there's a huge opportunity there. So at LinkedIn, we really think about creating value for members in 3 different ways: identity, insights, and everywhere. We do aspire to be the professional identity of record. Our CEO, Jeff Weiner, talks about the idea of the CV, the resume, going away completely one day, and business cards going away, not having a Rolodex, because more and more people are representing their professional brand on LinkedIn. They're raising their hand and saying who they are, what their experience is, their education, their industry, their function, their seniority, all in a very easy way. Insights. We think about providing insights through you guys as marketers that can't be found anywhere else. And then lastly, it's working where our members work, being everywhere, which I'll get to a little bit later, but being on places like mobile and in utilizing things like our APIs and our social plugins to actually connect the LinkedIn experience off the platform. So as I go into the next bit, I'm going to encourage you to think about sort of what Teresa teed up, that there's really 2 lenses in which to look through when you think about LinkedIn. One is as a professional, which we all are, and 2, as a marketer and really driving your business forward. So does anybody know what this is besides the title that I have up there, or Dale has up there? Anyone seen this before? No? OK. So this is the stock exchange's professional graph on the LinkedIn platform. What it is an infographic using InMaps, which is a really cool product that we developed. We have this thing called Hack Day out in Mountain View at our corporate headquarters. Once a month, everyone that's interested gets together, and they just build hacks. They build homegrown ideas, cool solutions, and once in a while, one really takes off, and this was one of them. So what InMaps does is it enables you to build an infographic of your network on the LinkedIn platform. This one's a little bit hard to see because it's representing the whole company, but when you look at yours, you'll see, similar to this, all different colors, and the different colors represent the different hubs of connections. So on mine, I went to Colgate. I see a big group of people I went to Colgate with. Then I see big people from the media industry. Then I see a big group of people I grew up with. And you can begin to understand where you're mostly connected, as well as where you're maybe not so connected. Also, when you have the graph up closer, you'll see that there's these hubs of connections amongst all the colors. Those are the influencers and the people that are really at the hub of all your different, they're the main connectors. So it's interesting when you start to think about influencers and who you really need to get to know and do business with, and you look at those hubs. So fascinating stuff. And I'll give you the link in a second to encourage you to actually pull your own in-map. So we did a poll. I think this was actually done a couple months ago, but this is a glimpse of a stock exchange, again, social footprint on LinkedIn. There's about 3,500 employees connected in the first degree, so first degree of connection, to over 170,000 professionals and more than 40,000 companies. Of those connections, over 10,000 are in the C-suite. So what does this mean? It goes back to your people, that your people are highly connected, they're connected with influencers, and you really can think about how you could leverage your own people to drive your business forward. Kind of an interesting concept. And so this is the URL, if you guys want to write it down, to pull your own in-map. It's linkedinlabs.com. It's really fascinating to just get a sense of your own professional graph and the insights that you can garner from that. Like, so I'm in sales, right? So I can look at my in-map and see my cluster of people in the agency world. If it's looking light, that's going to tell me that I need to build some more relationships, since those are going to be a lot of my key clients. Let's skip that slide. OK. So this is getting into those 3 value buckets I mentioned: identity, insights, and everywhere. So this is a poll Dale, my boss, did of Josh Silverman, executive in residence at Greylock. And this is his profile. And you can see all these things about him: his education, where he currently is, where he worked before. Hugely valuable. This is how we target our advertising. This is where people are raising their hand and extremely proud of who they are and what they do. And there's a real self-policing mechanism here, in that I can't very well say I'm CEO of LinkedIn, because within 10 minutes someone would see that and I would be found out. So a lot of authenticity behind this. Any action that somebody takes on LinkedIn, whether it's to follow your company or to recommend your product and service, is highly valuable because of the authenticity behind it. They realize that anytime they follow your company or recommend a product and service, it's showing up in the newsfeed of all their different connections, and it's tied back to their professional brand and identity. It's very, very different than liking something on Facebook, where you're often incented by a coupon or a sweepstakes entry or something like that. This is a place where you're taking actions that all of the people in your network are seeing, including your boss. So, and then these are just various things that you can use to garner insights again. So I see how I'm connected to Josh. Maybe if I'm not see the people that connect to Josh that I am connected to. So if I'm not connected to Josh, I could utilize any of these people to actually make an introduction for me. I can see people that Josh recommends. I can see his website. I can see the groups he belongs to. I can see the summary of his professional background. You get to get a really clear understanding of who this person is, what they're all about, and what it's going to take for me to connect with him. My husband's in the business of raising money. He does this all the time, and he's had huge success because he's able to find the people that know those people, and make connections. So I encourage you, again, both as a professional and a consumer, as well as a marketer, to really think about utilizing the identity and the information surfaced on LinkedIn to help you move forward as a professional or as a marketer. So this is really exciting. This is LinkedIn today. I don't know how many people are familiar with it. Anyone out there? Great. So this comes back again to the fact that we're in a new world of work. And I know myself, I'm not going and consuming content the way I used to. I'm not going to the Journal. I'm not going to the Times. So we used to all go to the What's News column of the Wall Street Journal. That's not happening anymore, because consumers are really dictating how and when they want to consume their information. So LinkedIn Today is an awesome service that we launched a couple months ago that ties in content with the social graph. So this is a place where the most shared stories are surfaced by people in your first degree of connections, in your industry, in your geography. It's however you want to filter it. And not only is it great because you're getting these stories surfaced up to you in a very personal and relevant way, but you can start to understand, as a marketer, what are people in whatever geography in the financial world reading about and caring about and sharing. And so you can use it to your advantage for your marketing strategy. You can use it for your own personal knowledge and doing business. So again, encourage you. This is the only news I really read these days. And it's all, I think I said this, but it's all powered by Twitter. So that's to the insights piece. And I'm going to go into a couple more insights, back to the value that LinkedIn's providing to the member. Okay. Still on insights, so these are two examples of key destinations, owned destinations we like to think of on the LinkedIn platform. One is a custom group or community, and the other is the company page. So when you think about the purchase funnel and you think about awareness and consideration, the community custom group really fits in with that. That's where you can really get your brand out there. You can join the conversation. This is an example of Phillips Group. It's one of our oldest, most successful groups. It's been around for about 3 years. There's about 30,000 members. It's global. And what Phillips does a really good job of is, one, promoting the group off the platform at their own events and through their own materials and things like that. And two is they really listen to their audience. You can't see it on this slide, but the whole right rail when you own a group on LinkedIn is customizable. You can do things like Net Promoter Score to understand if people would recommend your brand. You can do things like polls. And so what Phillips has done is they've really put themselves out there to ask their members what they want to hear about. As a result of doing that, they wound up creating 4 subgroups. This group is around innovations in health and branding Phillips as a medical innovation company. So after listening to their members and finding out what they wanted to hear about, they went and then formed subgroups around oncology, radiology, and 2 other medically related topics. Incredibly successful group. Company pages we launched last year. This is completely free to set up. And this is where you really list out your products and services. This is where you think about setting up shop, or fish where the fish are, as we like to say. The 130 million members on the platform, you might as well get your brand out there. And in this area, on the company pages, members can do one of 2 things. They can follow your company, or they can recommend your product and service. Either action that I take is going to show up in my newsfeed to my 1,400 plus connections. So then you can begin to understand the virality and the earned media generated as a result of that. We announced something really cool during Ad Week this year, that we now have the ability to enable marketers to send out company status updates. So you can send out updates about anything from the fact that, let's say NYSE has a new job they want to post, or let's say they have content they want to push out, or let's say they're trying to drive registrations to an event like today. So you can use those company status updates either as a branding vehicle or a lead gen vehicle. So really handy, and again, that's still free. So a lot of things you can utilize on the platform today without spending a ton of money. And then this goes back to just the insights, again, that you can garner from the platform using our faceted search to look for potential clients. This is a great way to just do business and look for people. Again, to my husband's thing about raising money, this is how he finds like a lot of his key clients. It's pretty amazing when you spend the time to actually go in and look, and I don't know how many of you use it, but this saves me a ton of time a day. I mean, again, my job is to sell to people. Prospecting tool like this is amazing. Okay. I'm going to skip a little bit of this. Dale put a lot of slides in here. And then this highlights, let's say in this search for people that I find that I'm not directly connected to them. I touched upon this earlier, but when I see who is, so these 2 people, Anne and Ellen, are in my network, and they're connected to this Marianne Fitzmaurice Riley, who I'm trying to reach. And I can either ask Anne or Ellen to make the connection for me via email, or I can send an in-mail, which is the mail through LinkedIn, to Marianne and say, hey, I see you're connected to Anne and Ellen. They're my colleagues. I was wondering if we could set up time to meet. And then this just talks to the news stream. So we're all familiar with news feeds. You see them on Facebook. On LinkedIn, again, they're just very, very different because it's in the business context. And there's a whole host of things that you can find out or learn. So somebody's sharing, they like something. There's an article about Caltrain transport out west. Or they've updated their profile. Or what are they doing here? They're sharing an article. So all these different things all being pushed out in the newsfeed. And again, as marketers, it's great to understand kind of like the insights you can get from what people are sharing, what they're liking, what they're commenting on, and really understand the engagement, all from the newsfeed. And then lastly is the point about everywhere. That's the third value that we think about providing to our members. Really working where our members work. People that just aren't online all day on their computer. So LinkedIn Mobile, I don't know how many of you have iPhones, but we released a very awesome iPhone application earlier this year. Anyone have it or seen it? And I don't know, I actually don't have an iPhone. A lot of my friends and family do, so I use theirs. But it looks significantly different than the web version, and that's by design. That's because we're testing out various ways of people using the platform. But again, we're just making sure that we're getting in front of people after the workday when they're looking at LinkedIn on their mobile phone, they're connecting people, they're researching companies, whatever it is they're doing. And then the other picture below is, speaks to our APIs and our social plugins. For example, you can enable, with a social plugin, you can enable members to sign into your website using LinkedIn social plugin, it's signing in through their credentials on LinkedIn. Or they could go ahead and recommend one of your products and services on your site. It's then going to get shot out to all their thousands of connections on the platform. So all really versatile ways, again, to make that kind of 360-degree connection from what you're doing on LinkedIn to what you're doing off the platform, and making sure, again, that you're deepening those customer relationships both on and off the LinkedIn platform. So I'm actually going to go not use this slide because in my mind, the three things that really differentiate LinkedIn are our audience. We have a really affluent, educated, influential audience, about 100K average household income. And these are professionals. Most of the people on the platform have jobs. So what that means is they're savvy, they're making purchases, they're influential, they're people that other people look up to. So if Joe Smith makes a recommendation, all the people on his platform are really paying attention, in his network are all really paying attention. So that's the first, audience. Two is the context. We're the only social platform at scale in a business context. So again, highly important. I talked about this before, but the authenticity, the thoughtfulness, the consideration that people are doing behind every activity they make, very, very different than Facebook, which is about posting videos and pictures and talking about your family and your Saturday night. And then the third is impact. We have various tools to measure impact, like brand lift, like click-through rate, like whatever it is that you're trying to measure. We have both our own audience research network, and we also have, which we released in an announcement about a month ago, really enhanced data analytics, so that any campaign you're doing with us, we can show you in real time how it's performing, which enables optimization, enables more insights about what a certain target audience is doing and how they're interacting with your advertising. So again, the three main differentiators of LinkedIn are audience, context, and impact. So were any of you one of the first 1 million members that got the thank you email from Reid Hoffman? Nice. What number were you? I was one of the first 30,000, actually. Wow. That's amazing. So our founder, Reid Hoffman, sent a thank you email when we hit 100 million members, which was back in March, to the first 1 million members. And it became really viral. People were tweeting about their number. It became really competitive. I'm not one of those first 1 million, I readily admit. You can find out what your membership number is when you go to your profile. In the URL, there's an ID and then a number. So check it out just for your own edification. Find out. But assuming that you're all very sophisticated LinkedIn users, these recommendations are probably very basic for you. But I fully believe that you have to leverage and deploy the platform as a professional and a consumer first before you truly understand how to utilize it as a marketer. Join groups. Read about the quality of the conversations that are going out there. Connect with people. Of course, have a great picture up. Share, comment, and post. Really begin to understand the engagement and how the virality and the earned media really works. And of course, there's the subscriptions, which are the enhanced accounts. But there's just so much there. And once you really understand what the value is in your own personal productivity, you'll realize as a marketer how you can go ahead and then deepen the relationships with your customers. So that's it. Questions? No? Oh.
Yeah, I had a recent conversation with somebody who manages IBM's alumni
Oh, yeah, I work with IBM.
So I had a recent conversation with somebody that manages IBM's alumni site.
Was it Jacelyn?
No.
Oh.
And you know, there's a real challenge of what's called soft facts. You started off your presentation with the claim of authenticity, and in a sense almost like a peer review, that whoever you're connected to sees what you're putting out about yourself. But it is a challenge in social media. When people are defining themselves, then that interpretation is, can be a little bit of also a gray area. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure how much of an issue this has come up in the past, but since social media is spreading and more people are getting on social media platforms, how they define themselves is critical to their success, but also to the accuracy, the quality of the information mm-hmm. that's on there. So can you speak a little bit more about that part of LinkedIn?
Sure.
Because, excuse me, I also know that there's I forget the name of the company, but then they use the LinkedIn API to get the profile into corporate alumni sites. So I'm an alumni, for example, of Swiss Re, and my LinkedIn profile is now in there. Mm-hmm.
So there isn't a lot of room on LinkedIn to really falsify your information, and it's sort of what I was saying about self-policing. Like, you can't really enhance your title or your experience, your education, because someone's going to find out. And in general, I mean, it's a pretty anecdotal statement, but I can say with confidence, we don't find that to be a problem. I mean, once in a while, we'll find out that somebody has like a fake profile up, and we'll take it right down immediately. But the authenticity of the data is really there. I mean, I think a lot of it is because of the quality of the audience. It's the affluent, savvy, educated audience that are on there, and typically they're all about being honest, and they know that this is really the key to helping them move forward professionally. So there's not a lot of kind of gray area. It's like you either went to this school or you didn't, or this is your title or it's not. If I make up my title, my boss is going to see it. Say, Carrie, that's not you. So, and those are the parameters, the ones that you can't really falsify, by which we target our media. So it's a pretty clean experience. Can you have the microphone?
Our HR people have talked about how there's been a slow time reaction when they've noticed something that someone's put up that's not correct.
Oh.
So where do we go?
There's an alias. It's a customer service alias. And I know, I actually was working with IBM to pull a profile down. It came down in 10 minutes. But I can follow up with you after and make sure that you have that. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Teresa.